What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope all you're having a great day. It's a beautiful day today. Um, the weekend is finally upon us. So anyway, getting into this episode of GH, I enjoyed this episode. I really did. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. The conversation between Nina and Britt, I like that scene. Nina was asking her about her and Jason and stuff like that, and I love Britt's response to it. Britt was like, "Ain't no more me and Jason." She said that's a wrap. Um, and she basically was like, she has no intention of being anybody's number two, their second choice. I agree with that. I totally loved how she said that because at the end of the day, you should never settle for being anybody's second choice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically settling for being runner up. Absolutely not, especially not where a relationship is concerned. You should always be number one with your partner, your spouse, or whatever. You should always be number one. You know what I mean? Like they should not be putting no other woman or no other man, whoever. They should not be putting that above you. You know what I'm saying? You are number one. And I'm glad that Britt has her dignity and her self-respect, and she's not settling for no bullshit. Like she's not settling for less. I love it. The only way I can see Jason and Britt being a viable couple, the only way for that to happen is if Jason stops putting Carly first, and we all know that's not gonna happen. So I'm glad that Britt is chalking up the deuces. She like, nah, I gotta move on. And I agree, because there are some eligible bachelors still on the show for her date for the time being, because Jax is still free. I don't know how I feel about that one. Chase is still somewhat free. Him and BLQ ain't dating yet, so it's still a couple free ones. Austin, there's some free ones, but I doubt she'll probably date Austin because she ain't trying to date no coworker, or a subordinate for that matter. But I'm happy though, that Britt is just, keeping her dignity and her self respect intact. And, even Nina was proud of her. Nina was like, good for you that you're not settling for that. Um, and she basically told Nina too to watch her back because she was like, Carly probably ain't done with you, so you might want to, watch yourself. Speaking of Carly, her and Sonny was trying to get some little romantic time in and stuff like that, drinking a morning coffee and getting a little frisky on the couch. Carly was ready to stay home today. She was like, nah, we gonna stay home all day today. Until Sonny got a surprise visitor. I was happy to see Phyllis. She came in with this big box of stuff from Nixon Falls or whatever, flannel shirt, all stuff that Sonny left behind or whatever. I am super happy that Phyllis is sticking around for the time being because she doesn't know what she wants to do, like where her next chapter in life is gonna be. Um, she's still, I guess, waiting on the insurance money from the fire from the Tano or whatever, and she don't think that she's gonna rebuild it or whatever. She don't even think that she's gonna stay in Nixon Falls, and I can't say that I blame her. It's like, what is there for her in Nixon Falls? Lenny's gone, the Tano's gone. It's like there's nothing there for her. So I could definitely see her migrating over to Port Charles and being there full time and stuff like that. And I do agree with a lot of people that said that she should take the insurance money and buy, Charlie's and stuff. I think she should. I think she should take that insurance money, buy Charlie's or whatever. I think that'd be dope. And I'm glad Sonny offered to put her up at the Metro Court. Um, and I'm glad she took him up. I love me some Phyllis, and I was super happy that her and Sonny are keeping that friend, close relationship that they managed to make while he was in Nixon Falls. I'm glad that they're keeping that. She wanted to come over and formally introduce herself to who he really is, as Sonny. I loved it. That whole scene was nice. Um, I can't blame Phyllis for still wanting to stick by Nina. I don't blame her for it, honestly. Because as we all know, Nina was definitely wrong for what she did, but that's just the type of person Phyllis is. She's a good-hearted person. Her heart's, she just has a bleeding heart. That's just how she is. And she doesn't see herself just cutting Nina off yet because she knows that Nina has a good heart. So she's, still trying to stick by her for the time being. Um, and she feels like she don't think that things are fully over between Sonny and Nina. I don't either. I don't either. You know, Sonny's talking about how it's an adjustment for him being home. I feel like him and Nina are far from over. You could sense it from him. You can see it sometimes in his face. Like, it's definitely far from over. Like, of course, Sonny's still pissed at her and he blames her for what happened at the Tano. I mean, hell, we all mad at her. But, you know, it ain't over. You can't close your heart off. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't turn your feelings off like that. And he definitely got feelings for her. So anyway, moving on from that. What else? What else? You know, this whole Spencer situation, it's kind of crazy. It's like I can't blame Nicholas for cutting him off financially. I can't. I cannot blame Nicholas for doing it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The only thing I don't agree with Nicholas on is the whole Spencer's dead to me. I want him out of my life. I don't like that. That's the only thing I don't agree on. I can understand showing him some tough love. I can respect that, and I do agree. I think Spencer needs tough love. Um, but that whole "you're dead to me" stuff, that's some serious business right there. That's something you don't want to play with. You know what I mean? Especially seeing as how Spencer is his only child. Um, and you know you're fucking up when Ava Jerome is the voice of reason for you. Like, Ava keeps trying to tell him, like, you need to fix things with Spencer. You know what I mean? Like, as much as she's upset with him, it's like she doesn't want to see that relationship snowball into the type of relationship she had with Kiki. I love how Ava has grown. Like, her character growth is amazing. For me, I just don't want to see Ava get too domesticated. You know what I'm saying? Because when you got people like Ava, you don't want to see them get too domesticated and too soft. Because Ava came on the show fierce. Like, she's been on the show now for 8 years, and when she first came on, she was fierce. I want to see her continue that. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see her still have that edge, but she's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like an integrated personality. That's what I want to see her do. Like, I want her to be fierce when it's time to be fierce. You know what I'm saying? And be mushy and domesticated when it's time to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know when to switch it up. You know, right place, right time, switch that thing on up. That's what I need her to do. But I'm loving that she trying to talk some sense into Nicholas. Like, you know, just don't cut him off. Like, don't write him off. Financially, I definitely would. Um, and Nicholas was quick about it. He said, nope. I called them. He said, I canceled that credit card. And sure enough, he did, because that lady came knocking on that door and told Spencer, yeah, your credit card was declined. He was like, well, run it through a couple more times. She was like, yeah, it was canceled. And of course, you know, Esme is not feeling this with her little bougie self, because Spencer was like, listen, I only got enough money for us to get some breakfast. After that, we're broke as hell. Um, so Spencer basically had to resort to crying to Britt about it. And Britt was like, please tell me you're not about to tell me something that I'm going to have to defend your father on. You know what I mean? Because the last thing Britt wants to do is be on Nicholas's side. But she was. Because Spencer was dead ass wrong. And he needs to make amends with his dad. He really does. Try to find a way, you know, at the very least. Um, and that little fool was sitting there asking Britt, oh, can I move in with you? Could I stay with you for a while or whatever? Britt was like, how the hell are you going to stay with me when I live in the Metro Court too? And obviously I only got one room, one bed. Like, how you supposed to stay with me? Spencer was doing way too much. This little fool had the audacity to ask Britt to pay for him and Esme to stay at the Metro Court for one night. My thing is, why didn't he just go to Kevin or something like that and stay at Kevin's? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Kevin would have put him up. Like, there's no way Kevin would have turned him away. You know what I mean? Like, because if Laura was in town, I'm pretty sure she would have been mad at Spencer, but she still would have let him stay. You know, that's still her grandson. I don't understand why he didn't just go to Kevin. But Carly popped up and was like, hell no. She was like, ain't no way in the world Spencer staying at her place at the Metro Court. She was like, it ain't gonna happen. I don't blame Carly for that, because at the end of the day, it's like he needs to be held accountable and take consequences. Like, he really needs consequences for his actions, because he's been enabled all his life. You know what I'm saying? Um, he needs to suffer the consequences of his actions for once. You know? And my thing with Spencer was, if you're gonna go after Ava, that's fine. You know, she's a big girl, grown woman, whatever. but you involved a child. You know what I'm saying? Like once you involve a kid, it's like you really cross the line now. And his little manipulative girlfriend going to Sonny, trying to manipulate Sonny, all of that stuff backfired on both of them. Even though, he didn't know nothing about it. I did agree with Ava though. When Ava told Nicholas that Spencer learned a lot of this behavior because for one, it is a Cassadine trait. Two, he learned this behavior by watching Spencer and probably stories that he heard about, his grandfather, great grandfather, his grandmother, great grandmother. His great grandmother, like stories that he's heard from about Helena and everybody else, that all enabled this behavior, you know? And anytime he's ever done something wrong, Nicholas never really punished him like that for it. He scolded him for 2 seconds and that was it. It was like, he never really faced any real consequence. That's why he thinks it's okay to do little stupid stuff and bad stuff and get away with it. But it's high time that he learned a lesson. I didn't feel bad for him or Esme. And Carly sitting there talking about her and Britt need to talk or whatever. They need to have a conversation. I'm like, Carly, no, y'all don't. Y'all need to have no conversation. You and Britt don't need to talk about nothing. So anyway, Esme tried to go talk to Cameron or whatever, talking about, oh, Spencer needs you. She was trying to manipulate Cameron. She definitely was. She's sitting here trying to put out these little crocodile tears and all this stuff like Spencer's in desperate need. No, you're being manipulative is all that's all she's doing. And I was hoping Cameron wasn't trying to fall for that foolishness. All she's doing is trying to play you. That's all that girl is doing because that's what she is. And Spencer already told her that they needed to stop scheming. And Spencer is being naive when it comes to this girl because I'm like, there's nothing about Esme that's going to stop scheming and being manipulative. That's her stock and trade. Like, the girl is good at it. So it's like, you got to go for what you know, and this is what she know. She's a con, basically. Even Jocelyn knows that. I understood where Cameron was coming from. He was like, Spencer's a big boy, he knows what he's doing and stuff like that. But it was clear to Jocelyn that Spencer is not the true mastermind like that. Like, this is really Esme's doing. Like, yeah, Spencer was angry at Ava and his father, but Esme was right there cheering him on and manipulating him to do what he do. And I do agree, yeah, Spencer's a big boy, he knows what he's doing, but don't count Esme out acting like she's some damsel in distress. That girl is manipulative as hell. And she was definitely trying to pull the wool over Cameron's eyes. That's exactly what she was trying to do. So anyway, moving on from that, I really like the fact that Portia, she has Trina's back. Like, Trina was basically trying to blame herself for Spencer's shenanigans. And Portia was like, nope. She was not about to allow Trina to do that. She said, no, Spencer is responsible for Spencer. You're not responsible for his actions. And I agree. She's definitely not. And I love how she trusts her daughter to make the right decisions, even though Portia need to tell her who her real daddy is, but that's another day. Trina really needs to stop blaming herself for stuff. Like, it's not your fault. And I'm glad Ava told her that because she was really worried about the fact that she felt she was to blame because Spencer was in town all that time and she didn't tell Ava. Ava didn't blame her. Ava did not blame her. She was like, none of this was your fault. You did nothing wrong. She actually commended Trina on her loyalty because she was like, you're the most loyal person I've encountered in years. And I agree with that. Trina definitely has a good head on her shoulders. And that's why Portia basically told Nicholas, like, keep your son away from my daughter. Like, Portia was not playing with him because she don't have time for her daughter to be getting mixed up in this Cassadine BS. Like, she does not want her child involved in the Cassadine bullshit. I don't blame her. Her daughter has a bright future ahead of her. She's smart. She's in college. She don't want her daughter dealing with the Cassadines and their shenanigans. She knows how dangerous that family is, how much drama they bring. She don't want Trina a part of that. And I don't blame her. It's just the mother trying to protect her daughter from foolishness. Like, she don't want her daughter mixed up with it. What parent would, And Spencer has a lot of baggage, and Trina just don't need to be dealing with it. You know what? As much as I can't stand what Nina did, her lies all these months, I do have to commend her for standing in her shit. Like, Nina really has been owning up to stuff. My thing was she's not running from anybody. You know, she's taken Michael and Willow's verbal beating. She took Carly's verbal beating. Like she took Sonny's verbal beating. She's taking it. You know what I mean? She's just taking it. She's not hiding from nobody. I can respect that. You know, I don't like what Nina did. I think it was messed up and she do need to face consequences. But at the end of the day, people on this show have done worse than Nina. I'm just saying. They have. I don't like what she did, but she's taking it. She's not running from nobody. You know what I mean? She's owning it. Um, Jocelyn is definitely a mini Carly. Like Jocelyn basically was trying to tell her, "Oh, you need to get a food delivery app or something." I'm like, at the end of the day, yeah, Nina messed up, but she's free to go wherever the hell she want to go. Like if she want to go grab a bite to eat at Kelly's or the Metro Court, that's her business. She, you know what I mean? Like I could understand Jocelyn doesn't want to be in her presence, but at the end of the day, y'all live in the same town. You're bound to bump into her. All you gotta do is ignore her. Um, Jocelyn definitely was right about what she was saying in terms of like everything Nina has done and the fact that her father was shot trying to defend her, which is true. Um, I love the scene. I think Eden and Cynthia did an amazing job in that scene. Um, Jocelyn basically gave her back the journal that Nina gave her for her graduation and stuff, and she ripped out all the pages that she wrote about Sonny after his funeral. That was such an amazing scene. I think they definitely should put that for Emmy contention because that was really good. Jocelyn has a right to feel the way she feel, but like I said, I love that Nina is not backing down from anybody. Like she's taking it, you know, because she feels that's what she deserves, and she does, you know, own it, you know, because anybody else usually probably would have ran from some stuff like that, but Nina was like, no, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna take your beatings, I'm gonna take your verbal abuse, and it is what it is, and she's not hiding from it. I respect it. I don't like her too much, but I respect it. So anyway, that was pretty much the whole episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought about it. I will see you all Monday. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hope you have a great day. See you all later. Peace.